Hey, dummies. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. I had a pretty good one myself. Was not optimistic. I don't know if you saw last week's episode. I almost didn't make a joke. The joke was me. I was going to die. No, I wasn't going to kill myself. But I didn't feel very good about it. I wasn't 100% sure how that was going to go. But we're here, you know? It was a rough Christmas. Rough Christmas. Hard to, especially the lead up to Christmas, always just sad. You try not to think about it, keep your head down, but if you look up for too long, all of a sudden you're sucked into it. So we had gotten through it. It was cool to see people's like gifts, what they enjoy, what they like, what what makes people excited. And I kind of decided that there's almost two gifts you can get people. Um, well, we'll say a third, but the third's more of just a general cover everything else as we make our own science of gift giving. But so there's this one gift that it's a small niche. Maybe you'll use it forever, maybe you'll never use it. It doesn't really matter. It's a small thing that's personal that person hears a message and goes, "Oh, they love me. They hear me. They see a thing and they want me to be helped with that because they want to support me." It's a very supportive type of thing to get somebody something that is personal for them, especially something small that like no one else would buy, such as this this ski mask, a balaclava or whatever. I got one of these. It was very nice. It felt like somebody supported me. The other gift is something I'll call a year long. Okay, it's basically a large supply of something useful. So if somebody eats a lot of sweets, getting them like a big thing of sweets that they enjoy, fantastic. It's it now the caveat of this is that it always has to be something useful for that person. It doesn't have to be as niche as the other one, but it's got to be something that they'll be like, "Oh, thank you. This took care of this year." You know, gas station cards kind of function like that, where like you give like a 16-year-old gas station card, like, well, shit, I'm driving everywhere, you know. So that's nice. The third one is kind of like a anything else gift, you know. And just like anything else can work as well, but these are the two that it felt like really gave people their best reaction. It felt like it gave them something that was more useful than just everyday gift giving. Like it was a present for Christmas. It felt good. Um, so that was nice though. You get to see a few people like really enjoy themselves. I had people who I like yeah like other people give me like very good gifts, and I was just very dumbfounded. It makes me very grateful, and it's weird because then you know people have thought of you whenever I was just sitting here wallowing in, I don't want to say pity, but I was upset. You know, I didn't feel very good. Uh, but it lifted my spirits. The one thing I hate about Christmas and all this though is the Jesus stuff. There's always every there I can't escape it for some reason. I finally like let my mother down, but there are always, you know, the powers that be, that like you feel bad for not going to a church thing. It's not it's not the worst thing to go to a church thing on Christmas. All right, I get that. It's not. But the people who say to do it for other people are weird. And that's what I just don't understand. I get being like, hey, being the guy and being like, hey, let's go do this for grandma. I get that. What I do not get is the grandma being like, you guys better come to church with me. Why? For what? It's the same story we all know. Like, it's so crazy, especially if you go into a church, they will act like no one has told you how Jesus was born. They'll act like it's a fucking mystery. And I get it. In today's America, it's a little different. It's not everything. But how many people know the story of Muhammad or Allah? Like, you know? Like, and how many of those people don't know the story of Jesus? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot to it. Other people like, and they tell it every year, like it's gonna blow your fucking mind or something. And part of the reason I hate it is because, one, they want you to come there and they want something from you. They want you to join their team. It's like every year they get one sales pitch, but it doesn't feel like a relationship because of that, because you're going there for possibly being saved. It was just always such a weird push-pull with my family. I just did not want to do it ever. Especially on a night whenever it's like Christmas and you're about to have a good night. But that really was like the forefront of everything whenever I was younger. Church would always just want to take a little bit of something from you. That's the thing about it, is that you can't have something of the world without a little cut of church in there. Oh, you want to snort some world? You got to cut some church in there. You understand? Oh, you're going to homecoming, eh? On a Saturday? Well, the next morning you'll have to be up for church. Things like that. So it's things where you can't ever get out. Where it's like, oh, you wish to go to a sleepover, eh? On a Saturday? I think not. Oh, is it Memorial Day weekend? I bet that Sunday night would be great for some sort of sleepover. If you weren't stuck in a church, it's always stuff like that. That was literally when I was younger. There was an evil, whatever accented man that was, and they would just take my fucking time from me. Ugh, the worst. But now I live how I want, and I spend my days how I want to, and sometimes that pisses people off. But whose fault is that? Not mine. But yeah, generally a happy Christmas this year. I got to see a lot of my family. I got to see my grandpa. It is distressing how things get, scattered throughout your family and shit. I'm fucking sitting there. I'm talking to my dad at Christmas and stuff. My grandpa's dying. I think I've mentioned this a few times before. Sitting there, and my dad's like, you want to see a picture of Grandpa? Sure. He shows me a picture of Grandpa with like a dog on his lap or whatever, right? It's basically one of my aunt's lap dogs. He always like, hey, come here, Bronco, or whatever your fucking dumbass name is. Come here, Bronco. And so Bronco or whatever just jumps on his stomach, and he's laying there with fucking like oxygen in his nose. And my dad's like, yep, his oxygen dipped down to 35 the other day or some shit, 39. God damn, you can't fucking. It's a rough life, okay? And so his oxygen had dipped down, so they've been putting him on oxygen so that he can keep getting oxygen. And so I was like, oh God, he's gonna have to be on it for the rest of his life. And I was like, God damn it. So I'm picturing this man looking like he's in hospice. Okay. I go over there like hours later, and he sees me. He's like, oh, hey, dummy. And so he like fucking leans forward, gets up, and like rips the shit off his face like he's pissed. And he's like, I'm gonna go take a piss. And then like keeps walking. I'm like, all right, thank God he's all right. And that's all you can ask for, right? Like if I saw that man get a little decrepit, it would be sad. It would be hard, but especially, I wonder if you feel that when you're older. If you feel like you gotta just act like it's all good for the people around you because they're gonna get old too. Well, I guess that's probably where old bitterness comes from, right? You do the opposite. You start making people's lives fucking hard because they're fucking young and you're not. Those fucking bastards. They have so much youth and you don't. Why? Take it from them. Bunch of life sucking succubi. It was a good Christmas. It's gonna be a better New Year, I think. I think New Year is gonna have a lot of fun stuff. I think we're gonna get lit. I think we might even shoot some guns at one point, probably beforehand. I really wanted to get a Joe Biden poster with like bright red lights on his eyes and then shoot at that in the woods. I thought that'd be hilarious. Trying to think of anything else. But yeah, my buddies and I are wanting to hang out, just have like a get together at his house, do a fun thing, And so gonna see how it goes. But it can't be bad. It's always fun. Every time we go there, it's one of those people. I don't drink a lot. There's not very many times I'm like, oh, you know what, this vibe needs a drink. But when I go hang out with that buddy, it's always fun to have a drink. It's so crazy because it's never ever fun to have a drink like other times. But with that guy, fucking A. It's just right. It's just right to have a glass of whiskey. I think I'm going to bring down some eggnog and some Captain or some shit, and we're just going to get to it. You know what I'm saying? I got to work the day before, but I think I'm going to bring down some energy drinks so that I can live. And for the day after, whenever I want to die. But I'm super fucking pumped. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. Yeah. My goddamn notes, 1 second. Oh, also this week, oh my god. So, excuse me. Kyle Rittenhouse is like a WWE superstar. Did you see that shit, dude? He literally is like, he like came out with like the Turning Point USA people or whatever, with the guy with like the small face and the big head, and he's got the crimson chin, Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Right? I don't know. Whatever. But he came out and he's like, now put your hands together for Kyle Rittenhouse. And Kyle comes out. There's 2 giant fucking like screens like they have at the WWE on either side. Fireworks going up like shooting up like a giant sparkler. And he fucking comes out like, yeah! And everyone's filming and like going crazy and clapping. It's the most insane shit I've ever seen. This is for, like, I mean, okay, maybe white privilege. Maybe OJ would have had this kind of reception if he was white. Especially being a football player before. I don't know, man. I don't understand what... I do. It's like I don't know what he. No, I don't. I don't understand what he did. I don't understand why he's like being talked to. I get him being like, I want to be rich for the rest of my life, but it is so crazy to start talking to the Turning Point USA people. I guess he's probably just gonna do the politician thing and just be like, well, I can do this for the rest of my life. If I want, and I can just go do speeches about whatever and just make money. That's what people are doing right now. They're paying him for interviews, all this bullshit. Which I think, hey, I would do too. Hey, even if you're a good guy who shot 2 people, I do it too. You know? And maybe that just means I'm a bad guy. but I don't blame him for going out and trying to get some money. Especially being young like that. And you're like, this might be my ticket to never fucking working. Hell yeah, dude. I would not want to be sitting around with Turning Point USA. It's a rough look to be sitting with some people that are like, oh god, whatever is going on there. I hope the best for that kid, but you can't function as an adult if when you are 17 you are coming out like a WWE wrestler because you got to gun down 2 people in the street. You know? Like... you don't get to grow up and mature when you're being brought out like Triple H with an AR. You know? You don't get humbled ever if you are getting your name chanted like you are an NFL team. So I'm sure he will be out of control and insane within 6 months. He'll be unable to be talked to within 6 months. They're probably going to try to radicalize him or something. It'll be fun. He'll be a CIA operative by the time this is all said and done, and he'll be traveling the world fucking gunning down political enemies, getting tried and getting free, which is the American way. But yeah, I am very interested to see. I know a lot of people, and they all say the same shit. Everyone goes, yeah, I don't really want to give him any attention. Cool. I'm kind of interested. Okay? I believe there's now a Rittenhouse whiskey. That might... I don't know if it's really related to Rittenhouse. That would be hilarious if a 17-year-old has a whiskey company. But that's just America. That's just America. Capitalizing on the small things. Getting anything moving. Uh, that okay. Sometimes I write notes, and I'm like, are they good? Are they bad? You know, whatever. And then I write ones. What this one fucking yeah. So it's like the setup is basically like when you're a kid, and you're like you're starting to get older, and you're like fucking A. I need something, and you're kind of horny, but you don't know what it is, and it's just like being addicted to crack, but never knowing how to get crack or what crack is. That was a premise. That's all I got. Okay, I don't know what else. Okay, it's funny you're in a TV show or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do with that. I'm complaining to my own writers, and they're me. Okay, I did have a lot of fun Christmas traditions growing up. Obviously, we had a candlelight service at church. Basically, the idea would be that people would come to the church. We'd all talk together, hang out, and then we'd all go into the sermon. They'd pass around the like bread, the wine, or whatever. It'd just be crackers and grape juice because there was too many alcoholics at my church. So if any of them had wine, they'd literally relapse by the time they left. They'd start stealing. It's not good. Anyways, we would go there and they would do the whole service. It would be like very like dimly lit, and there'd be fake candles all around. And my sister and I actually a few times we had walked up the aisle slowly, and we went and we lit the fucking candles on. It isn't a menorah. They put them in a shape of like a pyramid almost, just so you can be like, not a menorah. Because it's weird to see it and be like, okay, what does this shape stand for? If the menorah means something, what the fuck is this? Or you just wonder if like maybe they had menorahs before, but now they don't want to have menorahs since they're traditionally Jewish. Whatever. I don't know. They make revisions all the time. Don't let them fucking lie to you. And so we would be running up and down the aisle, lighting the stuff, go to the back. I was always helping with something when I was younger. Whatever my amount of autism is doesn't allow me to sit still without being like I'm actively doing something. So we would do that. Then at the end, basically what would happen is the pastor and his wife would stand at the top, and they would light their candles, and then they'd pass it to the left and pass it to the right until it went all the way around the whole church and lit up the whole place. It was kind of cool at the end, but once again, a lot of fucking singing, bro. Hey, this is your one fucking pitch. Shut the fuck up. Try to tell me the cool shit in heaven. Be like, hey, heaven actually lets you get pussy because pussy isn't sin. You can't fuck butts. Don't mention that. You're going to lose a lot of crowds. Start talking about you can't fuck butts in heaven. Okay? You're going to have a lot of people walk out those fucking doors. You start talking about you can't fuck butts in heaven. All right? That was when I left. I was young, and I remember I'm like, all right, we can dance around, the sin of sex. And so I'm like, maybe like blowjobs, hand jobs, whatever else. I'm like, don't touch the butthole. Sodomy is a sin, just as much as like fornication, but don't want to double up if you don't have to. A sin is a sin is a sin. So it's really about the numbers game. So if you're just doing fornication, you might as well just like pop it around, And then I'm going, and then all of a sudden, like the pastor is speaking to me, like that man had heard it from that parking lot, had heard me fucking around in that car. He goes, sodomy. That means anal and even oral. And I'm pretty sure I gasped. Like I go, in the church, everyone looks at me. Nothing. And I'm like, you can't suck dick? Are you fucking kidding me? What do you mean you can't suck dick? And I'm like fucking losing my mind. I can't fucking take it. And so I was like, if I've already committed 2 sins and it's a numbers game, just don't hit the third. But there's not much else I can do to hit a third sin, you see. So that was when I was about done. I decided I can't do it. I almost had an asthma attack and then a panic attack after hearing that sodomy includes oral. Jesus Christ. What's that leave? The hands? I'll kill myself. But so Uh, Christmas traditions. Christmas is a lot of fun. Yeah, I've always had weird shit with Christmas. Everyone always wants you to jerk them off, tell them to, well, okay, I know in the context of last story, but everyone wants you to always go out to their thing, do their stuff. I had a lot of other weird Christmas stuff. So for a while, there's one year I started dating, and my sister would be like, "Dummy, I can't wait for you to get your present." And I was like, "What the fuck does that? Why is she so goddamn? She's like 4 years younger than me. What the fuck? 5 years younger than me. Whatever. I'm like, what the fuck does she need? What? Why does she know my gift? Whatever." So we're going around. No one ever fucking tells me what they got. Her ass. Whatever. And so we're going through. I finally, on Christmas Day, unwrap the present. It's a book called Undateable. No? Or maybe Dateable. Dateable, I think. I think it was. And I was like, okay. And so my mother had gotten me this book that was basically like, it said on the front, the quote on the front was, "Who you should and shouldn't date according to God." And so on Christmas, Jesus' birthday, remember, Christmas isn't about you, idiot. It's about Jesus' birthday and you doing things for him. And so on Jesus' birthday, I'm sitting here staring at a book. I just got my first fucking girlfriend in ever. Okay? And I'm hanging out, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they're like, well, you're getting into dating, so I think it's important to know who you should and shouldn't date according to God. By the way, does your girlfriend go to church? That heathen slut. Does that fucking hussy worship the Lord? Oh, okay, she does. Okay. A Catholic? Never. No. Oh no. Catholic. I spit on. Bad. It was even worse. Yeah. So that was basically the message I had gotten. So that Christmas, I think, no, not that Christmas. I remember, and this is really true to my MO today. But so I believe what happened was New Year's came by, we hung out, I gave her a kiss. I gave my first kiss. I remember we went to kiss on the lips, and I kissed her on the side of her mouth, and I was like, that, like right here. Not good. You're not helping anyone out there. And so I think in true dummy fashion, this is TM, trademarked to me. After kissing her, I wrote her a letter about how much I liked her, but we could no longer date. And then I broke up with her because I'm an asshole. And I'm not 100% sure what or why or the reason, but that's just, well, I know the reason. It's because I felt like my mother hated her, and I was like, this isn't going to work. We can't be a family. We're two 16-year-olds, and my mother hates you, Who would have guessed that my mother would have hated my 16-year-old girlfriend, my mother who coddled me? And so that was one Christmas. That was a fun one. There was 2 Christmases, I don't think back to back, but like one Christmas, skip a year, another Christmas. I got so sick I couldn't do anything, and I would always ask for video games. So I remember I was like, I got the Force Unleashed for the PSP, bro. And then I have migraines, debilitating migraines. Like I can't, like I feel like shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I remember being a kid, and when you're a kid, you're like, maybe I'm developing something that'll just last until I die. And it's just fun to sit there and be like, I hope I can play video games ever again. And welcome to Christmas. And so they play the same movies over and over on Christmas because it's more expensive to play different ones. So they just play The Christmas Story, or in my case, I had woken up one morning at 4:30 on Christmas. I went out of my room and I looked down the stairs, and there's a little magical Christmas tree with the lights just flowing off side to side. And right on to the left is a giant dollhouse for my sister, presumably. And then down all below are a bunch of presents. And so I go and I try to wake my mom and go, Mom, can I get up? I just can't sleep. She's like, no, you can't. It's goddamn 4:30. It's barely the morning. Go to fuck to bed. So, okay. So I try to go to bed. I turn on the TV and I just try to turn over, go to bed. And what is playing is the Powerpuff Girls Christmas special. And I tried to go to bed, and I can't. So I watched the 90-minute Powerpuff Christmas special with all commercials. And when it gets to the end, at about 5:30, you know what plays again? The Powerpuff Christmas fucking special. I was going to fucking end it. Oh my god. Christmas is just an inconvenience. It's so much anxiety around Christmas for no fucking reason. Now I'm stuck here watching Mojo Jojo fucking go and beat up fucking children. For what? What the fuck is that even? Christmas is alright, but it's just a lot of projection. That's what I'm saying. Is everything on Christmas about what people want to do with you? Because Christmas is supposed to be about family, but instead it's about being with people that you can make do the things you want so you have a good time and they all leave sad. Or that you just had a good time. But sometimes, like, you have to accept that you can't be with everyone that you love if you want to have a good time. You have to be with the people who have a good time with you. You know? That's why New Year's and Christmas are so close together, yet so different, you know? You usually never spend Christmas with the same people you spend New Year's with. And if you do, you're sad about it. You don't want to. You'd rather be with your buddies from high school or some shit. Another good Christmas gift I had gotten that I really enjoyed was I got this little robot, and he like, psh, 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 and would like walk on like, psh, 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 and would like roll his feet on the hardwood floor, and my mom would be like, he's gonna scratch it, stop, he's gonna scratch it, it looks terrible, whatever, blah blah. And so what would happen is you could walk this guy around, he would shoot a dart, and then he would also, like, on this walkie-talkie that you'd control him with, he'd be like saying whatever you say. So I'd be like, come here, loser, I'm gonna kill ya. And then they'd like hear it like through like some voice modulator or whatever shit, make it deeper and sound more robotic. He's basically turning into like an Optimus Prime type of guy. And so we lived by a highway, and I would be doing that back and forth, and all of a sudden I would pick up on a radio from like truckers. So I'd be like, psh, psh, psh. Hey, Breaker, you see that that hazard halfway down the road there? I got a whole truckload of shit, and I don't want to hit anything. Can you just make sure to let me know if that's still there? I went there passing the other day on Thursday, and my mom's like, what is that? No, don't be, no. You cannot listen to truck drivers? No, absolutely not. They're going to be saying crazy crap and terrible stuff. Truck drivers say terrible stuff. I'm like, okay. So eventually I dismantled him and took him apart 8 different ways. My stepdad's a truck driver, and that had no quarrel with that, though. Just an interesting, it was just so funny. Like, you used to get like toys that were just so unique, you know? Or like, you'd really get the toy that was in the stories that like you'd see and you're like, that looks like a dumb fucking robot, but that was what you fucking wanted, man. You had those robots that had the like weird arms that were up and down and like had the knee. Dude, if you got an action figure whose knees bent, bro, you're fucking done. You have all the poses you need to have a homosexual marriage at the Barbie house. No. But you also can kick and do shit side to side and not be gay. And you don't have to be gay if you have the knee stuff. But you can be gay because you can do anything because your knees bend, you know? It's the best. Dude, I went to the fucking mall the other day. It's a place where everything's dying, so they had this guy there who had all these action figures from the 90s, bro, and he had all these fucking Power Rangers, dude. All the Power Rangers. I loved Power Rangers, bro. And they had all the fucking Power Rangers. They had the dudes that you click the button in their chest where the fucking, like, the fucking, like, hang on. Can't believe. Gay blue guy who got bullied a lot. Black Ranger / black guy. Tommy. You know, like the stuff they'd like raise up to the camera. Basically, he had that shit like on his fucking, you click that, switch their fucking head around, bro. It was the shit. It was the fucking shit. I loved it. It was like a flip thing or whatever. But Yeah, absolutely wonderful. I really like that. It was so cool to see that nostalgia. I was kind of envious. I'm like, what a cool job you have. Like, I mean, you have to talk to like 90% of people who literally just have autism. But dude, like 10% of the people are fucking awesome, dude. You see people there and they give you all kinds of shit. They got Rita Repulsa, all of it, dude. It was fucking awesome. Ah, man. Part of me wanted to get them, but I didn't have enough space. Once I get more space, I think I'm gonna start collecting Power Ranger shit. I know that's really fucking cringy, but I just like Power. Not like big ass dudes, but like just the little toys I had when I was younger. Some of the Zords and stuff. They're just so dope. Uh, yeah, especially, or you know what else? Old Transformers, the ones that were real intricate and they looked like model cars that you could transform. Oh man, dude, I had one that would go from like it would literally be a F1 Formula car that would transform out into like a wide-shouldered dude that would whoop ass. It was so cool. Hello, dummies. Where I last left off, excuse me. You can probably see there was a small hiatus. Things needed to be done, but it's over now. We're good. So, I was thinking about just the gift giving and stuff, and I had remembered actually. So one, my least favorite Christmas tradition, the white elephant gift. Not any fun at all for me, okay? A lot of pressure. Once again, might have some odds. I don't know, I don't know. But I don't fucking like it. It makes me incredibly anxious and almost angry. People give you things to trade. They're almost always garbage. This year, at my girl's house we played it. It actually went pretty well. They had some really nice gifts. However, I've played it before where you're like fighting over a dreidel in a church, and that doesn't make any sense. And that would be where the worst ones were churches. They'd always have white elephant gifts, and it would always be like, oh God, the kids would never get anything good. Sometimes you'd get like a cool lightsaber or some shit, or like a funny Christmas sweater, some shoes or something. I don't know, but other times, good God, okay, these kids could not dream. You understand? And so I remember one time the same. I remember telling the story. I believe the kid who had run around and he had a pool noodle that he had found that had a giant fucking metal bar in the center that he just like smack people's fucking heads with, and you just like time out. And so like this same fucking kid he lived on some farm or whatever, obviously, as he like killed animals and probably buried people in a cornfield. He brought in a gift, and he put it under the tree. And we're all going around opening up gifts. And this fucking psychopath, this is why you can't do this shit, because people like this are just around, okay? This is a man who doesn't understand. There's a barrier that he doesn't get, okay? He put mice in the present to fuck with people. That's the worst way to fuck with people. He's like, well, I would have put glitter, but you know how. What do you mean? Glitter can't breed, you fucking asshole. Whatever. It was the worst thing. I was like, this is why we can't let people do things. The bell curve. It exists everywhere. And you get 10 people in a room, start having them give gifts. Somebody's like, hey, I shit in my hand. Take this. No. Get away from me. What the hell? This is Christmas. You gave live mice that were probably hoping to die in that box. Those mice probably like looking for some sort of cyanide pill in that box, and you're gifting them to people. They probably watched all of their friends die, or you probably try to stick your dick in them or whatever. He was a weird guy, okay? He was always talking about like going into the military. It was definitely like a I'm gonna kill people thing, but he almost knew that was too cringy, so he won it. Insane man. An insane man. Oh, there's other parts of Christmas too. And just the same way that you can kind of tell something about a gift that somebody gets you, you know? Just how this guy had given us mice, and we know he's insane and probably a hick, you know? Because where did you get free mice? Well, I mean, maybe if he spent money on the mice, that's even more fucking weird. Because they'd be like, hey, don't give this in a gift, I'm sure. Whatever. Whatever. I'm pretty sure they were barn mice, okay? You know how those people operate. Just with barn mice around. And so one of the Christmas traditions that we have, so that you can know that it's not about you getting a gift, well, or maybe it is, I don't know, but basically at my mother's house, they like to unwrap gifts one by one while everyone watches you. like fucking sociopaths. The first time my dad was like, because they're divorced, the first time my dad was like, hey, broski, just open your fucking gifts when you want. And I was like, for real? You don't have to sit there and fucking, like, they'll be like, all right, take your time a little bit, you know? But, like, they'd be like, now you. And everyone would watch and be like, yay, and now you. Yay, now you. Yeah, it's unsettling. If you saw it, like, out of context of people, like, aliens would be like, there's some sort of ritual going on. They're talking to some sort of god. Although it isn't a demigod's birthday. So, you know, whatever. We're strange enough, you know? Humans are kind of, like, bland, but we're strange enough. Oh, and then, so, this week has been fucking terrible. So, I had a funeral that I had to go to, and that was the hardest thing I'd ever done. Like, sincerely, like, in a long time, one of the hardest things I'd ever done. I remember I just kept looking at the door and I was like, all right, you can leave at any time. You can leave at any time. I did a few times. I had to get tissues and shit, but god damn, it was hard. It's hard. But there was a pastor who talked a lot. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you, but he said some fun things. So this pastor now. Okay, so what I'm going to say is ridiculous, weird, and I'm uneducated, but this is the gist of what I've got of it. Mathematics implies that there is a fourth dimension. If the fourth dimension looks similar to the third dimension as the second dimension looks if you're from the second dimension looking to the third, it looks like there's a bunch of second dimensions all scattered across the plane. From the third to the fourth dimension, there's a bunch of third dimensional things everywhere else. So it creates a picture that we can't necessarily conceptualize, but you know that the space is there. So mathematically, the idea is that all possibilities are valid. Okay? Next, the idea of reincarnation. Doing again. Now, not necessarily jumping from animal to animal, thing to thing, but the idea of bettering yourself over and over and over again. Defeating old demons you hadn't before, things like that. And so this pastor had actually, like, basically the reason I bring it up mathematically is because usually mathematically is how you, like, calculate what's possible. So the fact that those variables are there for everything to exist is interesting. The fact that that stuff can exist is interesting. Now, here's what this man has said. Now, and also too, let it be known, on psychedelics, DMT, other things like that, you can live other lives. There's other lives to be lived out there. Do not ever for a second mistake that. You can go find them. I'm not encouraging you to. It fucks you up, okay? You're meant to live one. I'm going to let you know that. You can't just live a bunch of lives. But there's also the idea that although not infinite, what if you could somehow tap into a dream? What if you could somehow dream every night? And every night you dream 8 hours. Okay? You dream that you're somewhere for 8 hours. You're doing something. Now, what if every night you can increase your perception? Because that's how it works, is that dreams are in a smaller space. What if you could fucking dream for a few years? Now, I have. You don't have to believe me. Fuck you. I have, though. Okay? It was usually after doing psychedelics, things like that. When you do psychedelics, you open yourself up to these other kind of places in what I've seen. All right? You start to bring on otherworldly lessons that you don't understand. You start to talk to yourself in a way that's different. You start to take a step back. Okay? And you start to have something more in common with all of those other people, all of those other fucking dummies that are you, that look exactly like you. You get one thing from them, and they give you a lesson. If you're lucky, if you're fucking lucky. But where does that come from? Where is this knowledge coming from? What I'm saying here is to say, and is at least to persuade you, I won't say prove by any means, this isn't proven, but to persuade you that there's other places out there. There's other things. How can you take a step back out of your body, not recognize yourself, and not think, where does this come from? What is this? Because this is always within me. This thing looking at this right now, sir, some people want to say it's drug-induced, whatever. But it is a true thing where you start to understand, oh, this is just a body. We have more in common with everyone else that's alive today than anyone else. than anyone else. Than somebody that just died 5 years ago, you have more in common with a baby than you do with them. Well, not necessarily. You will eventually. But what I'm saying is that the possibilities are out there for other things to come into this world, for you to receive things from elsewhere. Prayer is another way of reaching out. Now, what this Christian man had proposed, which is insane to hear from a Christian man. I'd only ever heard really damnation and hellfire. So it really, although I was mourning and I was literally sobbing and trying not to make noise as I had moved down a seat to get a better view, and the lady next to me scooted over. So I was trying not to make too much noise. Obviously, she would yell at me for being too loud and having bodily fluids out. So in the time I'm trying to stifle my fucking lip quivers and my like yelps or whatever, this Christian man starts explaining that he believes that you can do everything in heaven that you can do here. It's just with the full existence of God and without the existence of pain. So what he had said is that you do the swimming, hiking, all of this happens in heaven, but you don't have any of those issues that are weighing you down. You get to live them out perfectly. Now wait. Now here's where I'm going with this. So, if the fourth dimension is the third dimension through all possibilities, basically what your life looks like is that you get to, I don't want to say choose, but you get to kind of ride the graph of the best ones. You get to almost like do it perfectly because all variables are like there, available, and you've already done them. So you get to kind of sidestep perfectly back and forth until you get your way there. It's very out there, it's very odd, but he was proposing that, like, he was saying that you can do anything in heaven that you can do here, just without the pain of the body, just with the full presence of God. Now, in my opinion, I think God is a thing that inhabits each of us, you know? So it inhabits each of us, and how do I say? It's the thing that makes you wake up in the morning, okay? The same thing, you ever see a dog wake up? They start shaking around, walking around. Why? Where the fuck do they have to go? It's a fucking dachshund. It can't walk more than 6 feet. Where is it going? And that's the thing. It has the same thing in its head that you do when you wake up. The exact same thing. That split second before you got all your things, you're the same thing. Just the same as a dog. Just you're waking up. Why? For what? What is making you wake up, go about your life, and live? Sure, and this can be evolutionary or whatever else, but it's just very interesting to think about. That maybe after this life, there is something fun. You know? I know it's not popular. Lord forbid the world works out. But, I mean, this is more of a parody of myself, as I'm not the most uplifting guy. But you wonder if Christian religion allows for this, and I've kind of gotten to this naturally, and a few other religions kind of like have things similar to this. I don't know. I don't think I'm right by any means, but it is interesting to think about that it is possible. It's at least good news, right? Hey, you know what? Fuck it. No, it's at least good news, right? Everything else is shitty news. The idea, maybe there's some fucking fire after this, and we just can't know about it because we'll all kill ourselves to get there immediately. How about, yeah, I'm gonna believe that. Not in heaven, but just the best fucking shit ever. And that's what's gonna happen when I die. And I'll feel good about it. I'd like to thank you for coming here, dummies. I did a little extra after going to the funeral, having a hard day. I felt a little more inspired. But I hope you like the setup more. I hope this is fun for everyone. Thanks for being here. I love you, dummies. Hey, dummies. So doing a new thing. I'm going to just start a cult. I've got about 9 subscribers. Good. Stay there. But I'm just thinking this is way more efficient if I just all get you to live in a compound and I yell at you for days. So, sign-ups will be soon. I'm posting a number in the description. It's not underground yet. We're going to work on that. You guys will probably be digging for a majority of this. We will get it done. Oh, excuse me. We will get it done, but yeah, I hope to see you there. As we start gaining more subscribers, I'll start getting more and more people out there. I imagine we'll have 4 of the 9. So bring like your best work clothes. Overalls, if you have them, work really well. Most of your valuables. If you have a power of attorney or some sort of living will, bring that. Sell your home. Just abandon your home. Just abandon your home. Don't call anyone. Abandon your home. And yeah, we'll see you there. I'll pay for your plane tickets, you know. And then whenever you get here, you'll wear white for 3 weeks, and then eventually you'll earn your belongings back. So for like $200 a month, you can. Well, you know, eventually once you get all the perks, it's $1,000 a month until you get to the top tier. But